Good morning. I'm here at the Dunraven Trailhead, and this is located just outside Glen Haven in the Roosevelt National Forest. Yep, and I had read about this. There's a missing person out here. They found his abandoned vehicle parked up here at the trailhead. Michael Power, last seen September 12th. That's exactly 2 weeks ago today. Official start time, 6:50. And in less than 3 minutes from starting the hike, I've already dropped my brand new GoPro Hero 12 on the ground. Boom! We're now entering the Comanche Peak Wilderness. And I'm finally getting ready to hit the sunshine. Yeah, I've been hiking in the shadows for like an hour. Whew. And it is going to be a beautiful day. We should have clear skies and low winds. And I'm going to need perfect weather to pull this off today. It's going to be tough. We're getting there. Probably looking at roughly 6 more miles up to the summit. I've been hiking for just under an hour and 10 minutes, and the GPS is showing that I've hiked 2.5 miles. And I think I'm getting my first look at Mount Dickinson out there. And it looks pretty hard. I'm coming up on the deserted village, also known as the Sunken Cabin, and it's just right out here. But what I'm thinking about doing is getting across the water and then taking it up this little burned area right there, getting on top, and then bouncing it across the top to the summit of Dickinson. The book says to take it all the way out to the Happily Lost campsite, which is probably a couple miles past Kettle Tarn, and then you just launch it straight up like 2,000 vertical feet right up the side of Dickinson to the summit. And that looks real hard, and there's a bunch of bushwhacking over there, so I'm thinking I can avoid all that if I can get up on that ridge and then just bounce it across the top. So I think I'm gonna try that burned route and take it up the side right here. And in order to do that, I probably need to drop down into this little meadow, find a way across the water, and then bushwhack through the trees. I'm gonna have to do a tiny bit of bushwhacking, but compared to what I would have to do if I went the other way, this might be a lot easier. I don't know, I'm taking a big gamble here. I could blow this whole hike if this doesn't work. And this is going to be the Sunken Cabin. I think they built it too close to the water. I'm looking for a way across the water, and it is just nasty over there. I don't want no part of that. I'm basically hiking parallel to the trail, but it's up to my right. I found this little social trail down by the water, and I'm going to take this over for a second. I got across the water right through there, and my boot slipped off one of those rocks, and my whole foot went into the water. I mean, my pants were in the water, and my foot still feels bone dry. Yeah, these new boots are awesome. And now I've got to get out of this little part, and I'm hoping it gets better up there. I just got to bust through these trees and get up on that ridge. This might work. This might work. Those trees were pretty short-lived. And I'm now working it up this thing, and I should get some pretty good views when I get to the top. I'm either gonna pop out at the top and see the rest of my ridge, or I'm gonna be in the wrong spot and we'll have completely screwed this hike up. It's gonna be one of those two. Oh yeah, I think I'm looking good. Oh yes. See if I can get some terrain similar to this for most of the way. That's gonna make it pretty nice and easy. So far so good. I'm just going to continue on, stay on the green parts, and try and get up there on that high point. The only problem with this right now is that no one knows I'm over here. I didn't tell people I was going to be doing this route, so if something happens to me, they're not going to know to look over here. Went a different way. I am going up the north slope from Sunken Cabin, then gonna go across Massive East Ridge to Dickinson. Done. It's sending. Okay, the message has been sent, and I'm gonna continue on. I've made it to the top of that knob at just over 9,000 feet, and that's looking up at the ridge. And to gain it, I'm gonna have to go up to a little over 9,700 and probably another half mile or so. And in 3 hours and 5 minutes, I'm up here, and I believe this is the beginning of the ridge at about 9,750 or so. And when I started the bushwhack down there by the water, that was at 8,200. So I've come up a little over 1,500 vertical feet in about the last 1.4 miles. And that's going to be the next up and over. And it looks pretty brutal. Most of it is unburned. There is a little burn patch going right up the middle, so maybe I can stay on that part. But yeah, from here, I'm still looking at about a 2,100 foot gain over and up to the summit of Mount Dickinson. Oh, and right here, here's the border. I was thinking that this ridge lies on the border between the National Forest and Rocky Mountain National Park. Cool. And from that National Park border sign, I think I'm looking at another 2.7 miles or so over to the summit with roughly a 2,100 foot elevation gain. I got to get up over 11,800. Here at just under 10,000 feet, I'm starting to merge back with the unburned trees. Hopefully this doesn't get too nasty up here. I'm praying it stays like this all the way over to the rocky part of Dickinson. This is nice. Super easy through here. All right. And I think I saw this from my break spot. Looks like a big bluff. And this looks like it's gonna flatten out for a few minutes. And then I'm going to drop down on the other side and start the final section up to the summit. GPS is showing 1.9 miles out to the Dickinson summit. My goodness, this hike is starting to get real long and real scary because I'm in no man's land. If something happens to me right now, I don't think anybody's getting up to me until tomorrow. I've still got quite a bit up to the summit, like 1.5 miles with roughly a 1,300 foot elevation gain. So yeah, that's gonna suck. And I'm finally getting a view of Mount Dickinson. And I don't know, guys, that looks freaking brutal going up. There's like a rocky ridge on this left side that we can't see because of the trees, and it looks kind of nasty. I don't know, I need to decide right now what I'm gonna do, because I can still bail out to my right and make it back down to the trail that's right next to Kettle Tarn. And that's looking over to Stormy Peaks and Stormy Peaks Pass. And then right over here is Mount Dickinson. And that's just a little too much for me right now after having already hiked 7 miles. Yeah, this tree section is just killing me. It takes so much more effort to wind your way around all these trees and stuff. There are no straight lines up here. Like, even if I had the energy to get up there, I'm gonna need a lot more energy to come down all that, because you just come straight down that like northeast ridge. So I think what I'm gonna do is just take my break right here underneath this big pile of rocks, and then I'm gonna head straight down right here to the north, and I should run into the trail in about 1 mile. The trail is actually closer than the summit. And this is the view from my spot. And my GPS is showing that I have hiked 7 miles today. And I may have screwed this up by trying my own route. I might have made this harder than it is supposed to be, because I've been bushwhacking for hours and hours, whereas I could have just stayed on the trail for a lot longer and then just plowed it right up the side. Yeah, while I was sitting up there relaxing, eating cheesy smiles, drinking noon juice, I was starting to get some confidence back. I was like, yeah, I can go do that. And then I got up and peeked over the rocks and was like, yeah, no, not gonna be getting that. Please let it stay like this all the way down. I will be super thankful, but I'm still gonna have to cross that water too, which could get a little tricky. I'm gonna be so happy when I get back to that trail. I'm not even gonna care that I got 6 miles left. And this is looking pretty good for the foreseeable future. Yeah, I think this is gonna work. It better work, because I don't wanna die today. This is turning to crap down here. And I was all excited because I thought this was a meadow. However, I think it's more like a marshy bog. I think it's all wet through there. I hope there's only water in this one little spot right here. Oh man, come on. Let's do it. Let's just try and stay high on the grass. This isn't so bad. I'm managing to stay on the tufts of grass, and it's keeping me out of the water. But yeah, this is all wet through here, 100%. I feel like a moose could trample me so easy right here. And that's looking back up at Mount Dickinson. And yeah, and that looks tough. Okay, I just heard some wood break over here in this area. That's always fun. All right, and this can be over at any time now. I'm good with it. I'm done with it. I am such a sitting duck right here. I cannot move fast at all. Dude, there could be a lion just chilling in these grasses and I'd never even know. Yeah, this is straight booty hole right here. This sucks, and it looks like there's a bunch more of it up here. Both of my boots are completely soaked. The right one went all the way down into mud. When I pulled it out, it was like, made that little sucking sound. I was like, all right, way to trash the brand new boot. Oh my goodness. According to the GPS, I've still got another half mile. Dry land. I've seen it. Oh, thank God. Man, these down trees are killing me. More down trees. This bushwhack is like many other bushwhacks in that the worst part is down here towards the bottom. Man, I just cannot get out of here. It's like every time I look at my GPS, it keeps saying 3/10 of a mile. Like, how can that be? I've been coming down this thing for like an hour and a half or something. Yeah, it's no wonder why these forests burn so easily. I mean, this is just nothing but dead wood back here. I'm getting more of the wet, but I don't even care because I've got to be getting close to this trail. Oh, geez. Yeah, that was a boot sucker right there. All right, I've made it back to the water. And I can see a good spot to cross right over here. Yeah, look at all those rocks. And I'll take it. This thing ain't gonna go quietly. Man, it's gonna be a pain in the butt until the very end. God dang, that's some bull crap. And I'm back on the trail. And yeah, that went out with a total bang there right at the end. I'm so glad to be back on this trail. And it's just past 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But I'm feeling a lot better. I mean, I'm still in no man's land back here. But it's not near as remote as where I've been for most of this day. I just checked the GPS And I'm about 6/10 of a mile away from Kettle Tarn, which means I've probably got roughly 6 miles back to the trailhead. Dang, that mountain looks big from down here. Man, that's a tough one. It's just past 2:30 and I've made it back to this trail split that's real close to Kettle Tarn. I was gonna go down to Kettle Tarn, but I forgot when that technically opens again. I think it was like October 1st because they close it down for the boreal toads, and I don't want to disturb the boreal toads. Yeah, and that's the North Boundary Trail. That's what I supposedly crossed over way up there, but I didn't see it. I think I'm looking at roughly 5 miles or so back to the Dunraven trailhead. Yeah, this thing's not over by a long shot. I still got a long way to go. I'm stopping for a quick 10-minute break. And this is what happens when the power beans melt into the trail mix. You get a power bean cluster. Tastes like something you get from Grandma on Christmas. That was damn good. I think this is the sign indicating that I'm leaving Rocky Mountain National Park. Yes, sir. I'm still a half a mile away from where I split off this morning, but this is looking back at what I did. I think I came up right here and then just bounced it all the way across over to the saddle just to the east of Mount Dickinson. And then that's just where I ran out of energy and ran out of time. It's 3:48 and I've made it back down to where I split off this morning, which means I have completed the loop of failure. And according to my GPS, I've hiked 11.7 miles. I think I'm looking at about 2.5 back to the trailhead. All right, and it's just now 4:40, which means I've been out here hiking for 9 hours and 50 minutes today. And according to the GPS, I hiked 14.2 miles. But I hope you enjoyed the hike, and until the next one, y'all, peace.